Hello, it's Kadisha. I'm back with another video. So, of course, hear me out before you decide to make your decision. But I came to the terms that school is business. And I feel like it hadn't always been that, but now it has come to the place, just like everything else, has come to where it can be monetized. You got to keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. I was in this class and this person who was just like over, I can't remember what department it was over, but the question, he was actually there to sit in to watch the professor. But then after, like, the professor wanted him to just kind of ask questions to the students about, like, how well he was doing, and if they had anything that they wanted to actually tell him without telling him. And I'm just like, whatever I got to say to you, sir, I'm gonna tell you. I hope he knows that by now. But, like, I'm gonna tell you, I don't have to go through somebody else and say stuff behind your back. No, that's not what I do. We don't do that. We tell you how it is. And of course, like I've said, we say it nicely. It's not that we're trying to go around and be mean to people. No. So yeah, this person gonna say, so what can we do? First ask, like, how many of you are like part-time students? And it was majority of the people were part-time. And he said, well, how can we make you full-time or get more hours? And I'm like, now why would you ask that? That was red flag. You know how we talk about red flags and all this stuff? That made me, oh, now I'm over here popping these popcorn. Hold on, now let me get my pop. Ooh. Popping my popcorn. So let me do that right quick. Okay. So when he asked that, I'm like, now why would you ask that? Because apparently people are taking classes that they can afford to take at this time, or of course whatever the classes were available. But that right there, it made me realize that this generation is all about getting education, but to get sucked into a system that basically makes you to be a rat or a hamster on a wheel, because they want you to forever try to get a certification so that you can become qualified for a certain business. And when you really think about it, entrepreneurship is the way to go. And not to say that you won't need certain skills or whatever, but we have to remember that there were no schools back in Jesus' time. And the Lord said he the same. He the same forever. Yesterday, today, forever. So I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from going to school, from learning a trade or anything like that. No, learn these things, and that's great to have. However, do not allow school to dictate who you are as a human being and think like, oh, because I have this degree that, I'm somebody. And not to say that you're not, not to say that you're not, because of course you've earned that degree. You went to school and you got that. That's great. But don't allow that system to get you sucked into wanting to just attain a degree because it's, offered, of course. And then so you can get into a maze where you're still working for someone else doing exactly what they've called you to do, even though you did all the work to become this person. And I know having businesses is what makes the world go round. So I'm not trying to dissuade anybody, but I'm just saying we have to open up our eyes, because that would have went over my head probably a year ago or so. It would have totally went over my head. But to me, I'm like, do you not realize that we have so much financial debt? Like, student loans is a thing. So trying to get people to get more classes when student loan is already out up the roof, to the roof, does not make sense. So we have to make sure also that we're not getting ourselves into a job or taking going into a school where we're having to pay so much money for the degree, but the job doesn't balance out. And I've heard another person talk about that as well. So, other people are teaching this. However, I know everybody doesn't see everybody's video. So I'm speaking out too, because that just really, like I said, opened my eyes, because most of the time we're just trying to, we're trying to get ourselves ahead and all that. And I'm not saying don't go to school. That's what I'm saying. Because clearly I'm in class. And I just was like, all right, Lord, I have to make sure that whatever I'm doing, it is something that I feel like you're telling me to do in this season of my life. And I'm not just attaining this because I want to be, I think my popcorn is stopped, because I want to be considered qualified for for a certain position. And I have to, realize that the Lord truly, like the saying goes, he qualifies the call. It's not the other way around. So I can't say I need to work to get myself in this position because I'm considered qualified, because we know a lot of qualified people who do not have work. So don't get into this maze or this on this hamster wheel to where you're so busy seeking the approval of men that you're taking classes, you're doing all this extra stuff, and it's not even connected to your purpose. So thank you so much for watching this video. Like I always say, sa cambio que quieres ver en otros. Until next time, bye.